All right, I got a good question.
Yeah.
Have you ever cheated?
Scott and I, we went to
No.
Pinkberry without you.
No. I mean, like, have you ever cheated on a
Weighing
test?
on my chest for a while.
Have you ever cheated? Jason.
This is hard.
Jesus
He
Christ.
had coconut. I had pomegranate.
Have you ever cheated?
I'm sorry, David.
Jason.
We wanted to call you.
It's okay. I get it. You went to Pinkberry without me. Don't let it happen again.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt you, David.
Have you ever cheated in high school on a test?
Oh, in high school?
Yeah.
On a test?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my best friend. We
How'd
cheated
you
all
get-
the time.
How did you get around high school?
I cheated off him.
Were you cheating all the time?
Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification to get notified about new posts and to help the channel grow.
Yeah, I didn't cheat. But I would look at the other people's paper.
Yeah, I've talked about cheating a lot.
Yeah.
And it's because it's always like my main thing in high school was I was like one of the kids that top 5 cheaters, like 100%. Like it was like
Who's ahead of you?
There's a couple four douchebags.
Yeah.
No,
Couldn't quite get there.
No, but cheating was such a big part of my high school career.
Yeah.
On tests, sorry.
Yeah.
And like I just find it so interesting because it was just like I felt like Bonnie and Clyde, and it almost. I don't know. I want to justify it, and I know cheating's bad, but I want to justify me cheating in school because it was like I felt like all the work I was doing. Okay, I read a quote from Bill Gates once, and I've talked about this in other places before, I think on a video, but I read a quote from Bill Gates that was like, hire lazy people to do difficult jobs because they'll find easier ways to do it because they're lazy. And I always thought that me cheating was kind of a weird representation of that because I didn't learn, but I still figured out how to do it. Do you know what I mean? And like I always justified with myself that like if I know how to fill out this test.
No, I love having a pilot that, figured out how to fucking get the job but doesn't know how to fly the plane. It's awesome.
No, I mean like the bullshit shit that like I'm not talking about like cheating on my driver's ed test.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like in chemistry, mixing ions and some bullshit. Like
sure.
My chemistry final. This is how my chemistry final went down. Chemistry, I didn't know at all. I
Sat there all year, didn't learn a thing.
I can't explain to you how little I knew because you won't believe me.
I believe you.
But I didn't know anything.
Did you go to the class?
Yeah, I went to the class.
You were there every day.
Yes, but it was just it was a different language, and I didn't take. I mean, dude, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
The final came around. I had a 86 in the class, which is incredible.
Great.
Incredible.
Yeah. In chemistry, which is difficult.
Chemistry is impossible. No, I had an 88. Sorry, in class, which is incredible. The final comes around. Our teacher says he's a surprise for us in the middle of the final. And the middle of the final comes around. There's a written portion and a Scantron. Mm-hmm. So the written portion is impossible because you can't just look at the other paper because it's big equations because it's chemistry. You have to write out a bunch of strands of DNA and bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the Scantron, which is just like the fill in the bubbles thing, is so easy to copy because you just copy the bubbles.
Uh-huh.
And
you have the right Scantron next to you?
So what I did was in the midway through our test, when he said the surprise was happening, he got up and he left the class. And we all looked down. We're like, is this a surprise? And then we started passing around the Scantron. Like one of the smartest kids passed it back, and we started passing it around. And he came back in like 5 minutes. We all had the answers. And now I had this written portion that I still haven't filled out. So I took my Scantron, my multiple choice, which was already done, and my written portion, and I waited till the smartest girl in the class that sat far away from us went and turned in her test. She was like third or fourth that turned in her test, and she turned it up right at the teacher's desk, like right in front of his nose, is where she put the test. Right when she got up and she turned in the test, I went up, I put my Scantron down, I put my written portion down, and I went, oh shit, I didn't fill out the written portion. And I took back my written portion and I grabbed hers from underneath too.
No.
And I took hers back right in front of my teacher's nose, and I took my Scantron back. And then I passed it around to my 5 friends in the back, and we all ended up getting 98% on the final, which is ridiculous on a chemistry test.
Holy shit.
98%. Ridiculous. And I got an A in the class because of it. I got an A in chemistry.
And that didn't. You don't have any kind of moral obligation to that, or you don't feel bad in any way.
I don't feel bad because it was never. I wasn't cheating any. Like I wasn't like. I wasn't knocking anybody out of a spot. Like I wasn't like knocking out of some dude from getting his degree in chemistry. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't taking up a spot. I wasn't cheating anyone but myself. And that I felt totally okay with. Like I wouldn't cut corners like that if it was like a fair competition with someone.
Sure.
But it wasn't, because it was just me and my grade. And I knew I didn't give a fuck about chemistry, and I'm never going to use it in my life.
Don't you think that the teacher knew?
Maybe. But I don't think
Why would the fucking teacher leave for 5 minutes?
because he was a shitty teacher, and I think he gave us the opportunity to cheat.
I think so too.
But he didn't. I don't think he wasn't a shitty teacher. I was a shitty student. I'm sorry. I didn't pay attention. There was kids that were getting 98% in his class.
And
So
describe that moment when you walked up and you saw Abigail Spencer's pet kicker or whoever the fuck her name was.
It was like Ocean's 11, dude. It was like me robbing a casino.
What was he doing in that moment? She?
He was.
Is he like playing fucking Angry Birds or?
He smiled at me. He watched me turn my test in.
But before you took describe the moment when right before you go, oh, I forgot to do the written portion.
He looked at me. He was just sitting there with his arms crossed.
He looked right at you.
He looked right at me. I turned it down and I smiled at him. And then took a quick look back at my test. I'm like, oh, dude, I totally forgot to do this. And he laughed. He giggled. And he's like, and then I took her test back.
He was like, oh, David.
Yeah.
You silly goose.
It was exactly one of those.
There's an entire other test you haven't touched yet.
How could you miss this? Yeah, and that's...
And so her test is sitting on top of... You put your test on top of her test.
Yeah.
And then grab both tests.
Yes.
And then how do you pass it to everyone?
Oh, that's easy. That's just in the back.
But isn't he fucking looking?
Yeah, but it's literally just when he's not looking. When someone goes up to ask a question, you just pass the test. It's so easy. That's the easiest part of cheating. But there was always something about cheating in high school that was like, it was every test I would go into, I would have the answers before. Like I would have it on my phone because people would send me the answers before I walked in the room. And I would always have the answers. I told you there was a situation. I told you this too. There was a...
How do they know what the questions are going to be?
Because there are people that took the test before, a period before, right? So they would...
fucking rampant cheating.
And they took a picture of the test and they sent the answers to me. And
they're not doing a good job of keeping that shit under wraps.
There was one time, so you'd get the questionnaire booklet and you'd get the Scantron, and the Scantron's the multiple choice where you just fill it out.
Right.
The questions are on the booklet. And I had the answers to the Scantron. I had a picture of the Scantron. I sent it to my friend, and they always hand out the Scantron first. So the teacher handed out the Scantrons. And my friend took it, and he goes, "Can I start filling it out now?" And everyone just looks at him like, "What? What do you fucking mean? You can't fill it out."
Yeah, you don't have the questions yet.
You don't have the questions yet.
Yeah.
And I look at him, I'm like, "You idiot!" But no, it was he didn't have the questions, but he had the answers. But thankfully, I never got caught. The only time I got caught cheating was my last test I ever took in my life.
Yeah,
it was my final in a psychology class.
It's in college.
In college.
What happened?
She just called me with my phone. She's like, "I'm taking away your test." And I was a Viner at the time, so I was on my phone a lot. And I'm like, "Listen, I'm not cheating. I'm taking care of business right now." And she gave me back my phone and my test.
She gave it back to you.
I don't know how I wiggled out of it, but I had my phone out.
How did you do on the score? Were you able to cheat after she caught you once? Again?
I actually wasn't. I was actually sending answers to my friend.
You were?
Yeah.
So you did fine on the test.
I did fine on the test, yeah.
Your friend who's sitting somewhere else in the class.
Yes. I was sending him
What was that like when you went to like stupid college for 2 weeks?
Community college?
Yeah.
It was
Is it embarrassing to go to community college a little bit, or is it like
it's
or
like,
is it just like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life?
There's a bunch of different kids at community college. They're the kids that like absolutely know that they're getting out of there, and they're like, fuck this shit. This is only just because it's cheaper, and I'm going to get my credits out of the way, and then I'm going to do what I love, and I'm going to go to Harvard.
Right.
And then there's students that don't know what they're doing, and they're just there because they're like, I don't know, I just want to kind of play video games, which I get because that was me. And then there's students who don't want to be doing anything. Whose
parents made them go.
Yeah, who are just like blowing away the class.
What was the name of the community college that you went to?
College of Lake County.
And were you there for one semester?
I was there for one semester.
Literally September to December.
Yeah, and then I told my friends, I'm like,
were you living at home?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me.
I told my friends I was dropping out of college. I still remember it. I was in the car. You haven't met any of these friends. These are different friends I was in the car with. And I go, yeah, I don't think I'm going to college. And it was like it was like the typical like douchebag like kid. He goes, hey guys, like we were sitting in the back. It was just me and him. And he goes, hold on. Hey guys, yo, listen to this. David, say it again. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to college. And they're like, what the fuck? What do you mean you're not going to college? What are you going to do? Just play fucking, what are you going to twiddle your thumbs all day? What are you going to do, you stupid idiot? And like, at the time, like me not going to college, it was just like, so like, it was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like I'm not going to college. And like, I had $2,000, like $1,700 in my bank account and I was moving out to LA and not a single like, part of me thought it was risky. It was just like the thing to do. I'm like, yeah, this is, it's happened. Like I didn't think it was, now looking back at it, moving to LA with $1,700 and not making any money on Vine is very stupid and very risky to do.
Right.
But it worked out. And like at the time it wasn't scary at all. It wasn't a risk. It was just like, this is what's next. Like I gotta move to LA. I'm not going to college.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
And my parents gave me an ultimatum. They're like, you're either going to college or you got to move out. I'm like, guess what? I'm moving to Hollywood. And they just left. No, I said I'm moving.
How many followers you have on Vine at that time?
When I moved? Like 800,000.
Yeah, so you're doing good.
Yeah. That's not good.
No, it is good.
For like the Viners that were out
but
there.
you were famous enough that everyone knew
Do you know
who
what
you
I
were.
told my parents?
What?
So I told my parents when I first decided I was going to move out, I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm moving to Los Angeles. And I was with my mom and dad and they just laughed. And they're
They
like,
did?
yeah. And they're like, where are you going to move? Hollywood? And I'm like, yeah, literally, actually, exactly on Hollywood Boulevard. And like then I was trying to justify what I'm going to do, and they're like, what are you going to do out there? I'm like, I've never told this to the person I'm about to say, but I'm gonna make Vines with Josh Peck. That's what I said.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna make Vines with Josh Peck. And
Did you ever tell Josh that?
No.
Oh, that's funny.
Never.
You should tell him.
And yeah, and
funny?
then I met Drake Bell before Josh Peck, and then now I end up making videos with Josh Peck every day, which is ridiculous.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, and a little bit of Sundays. Yeah, so
Sunday.
it came perfect full circle.